consumer, and there's a lot of risk involved in this. So that's why usually you can see prices going down for the producer, but not necessarily immediately at consumer level. So there's usually this lag effect going into this. But as soon as the consumer can't afford these products anymore, then the retailer will gradually try to decrease the price till the end consumer can buy it again. And then you can see the demand getting up again. So you, as Dani also mentioned, you see this seasonality in markets. And to get back to your question is to what's the market opportunities now at the moment. And it's so difficult to answer that question, and I usually get that. But extremely from season to season. And my advice always is, you've got certain infrastructure, you've got certain machinery, you've got certain knowledge, expertise in a certain industry. Make sure you specialize, you sort out all the bugs in your specific industry. Get to that market, make sure it's efficient, because if you move into another product, you're going to pay school fees again, you're going to pay development fees, you're going to have certain issues regarding that again. And yeah, there's always, if it's on a Landbou magazine's cover, you've missed the boat. And my one rule of thumb is, agriculture is not a quick rich get scheme. What's the right phrase?
Get rich quick. Get that one.
Yeah, that one. Everybody knows what it is. It's a long-term investment. Yes. You need to make sure you can. It's going to vary from season to season, but make your planning, your profitability planning over a 10-year period. 3 of those years you're not going to make profit, but make sure those other 7 years can cover the 3 years that you don't make profit. And then you have to reduce your school fees, reduce everything. So it's not really an answer, but I hope it's something of an answer.
Dani? No, I think it's important to specialize in agriculture. You cannot be a jack of all trades, master of none. So if you have a specific product or a service that you provide, you have to specialize in that. You have to be the better one of your competition in that specific one. In China, if they manufacture wheelbarrows, there is one that only built the wheel, and there is other that only built the bucket, and there is a team that market it. We want to do all of these, and then we fall flat on these things. We have to specialize and go to the experts in that specific. She mentioned now the fertilizer and pesticides and all that for her crop. She doesn't know all these, but they are experts. Use the experts in that market so that you become a specialist in what you are doing. I think in all, you cannot farm with all and do it halfway. You have to be an expert in what you are doing, and make sure that you use the experts around you so that your product is unique into the market.
I love that. Thank you very much to our panel. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. They've been great, eh? And please remember, we do have a networking session at the end of the day, so you'll still get an opportunity to speak to them. Those who will still be here, take the opportunity. Ask Dani, what else is being funded that's non, farm? What other tech things they are funding there in agriculture? It's opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you very much, Dr. Johnny van der Merwe, Mbali Noko, Dani Retief, and Priyash Aramadin. Thank you very much. May we just quickly pose for a snap? Oh. Can I touch you? Snap. Oh, in front of us, okay.
Just to take it one step further, I want to bring on stage a friend, a lady I respect a lot, Harvard alumni. She went very far to get these nice qualifications. Harvard alum, current MBA candidate from Henley, an astute filmmaker or film industry lady, deputy chairperson of the...
Thank you. Certainly a privilege to be here with economic developers and builders. Like my brother says, so actually he's my Mkaya. We're both from Gwagwa. So I think one of the things that I think I'd like to applaud every business owner that's here today, because we know that the daily operational things in our business that seem urgent always overstages the strategic things that we need to pay attention to. So most of the time as entrepreneurs, we spend most of the time working in our business versus on our business. Yeah. And of course, you'll hear entrepreneurs proudly saying, well, I run my own business. The reality is that actually your business is running you, where it should be the other way around. Just a bit about Grow Coaching. So we're a business that started in 2009. We have 150 companies that we work with. We have 20 coaches, mostly based in Johannesburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, and Durban. And some of, I guess, the success stories that we've done in that space is that we initially started working with businesses that have an annual turnover of between 10 million to around 2 billion, right? These are also businesses that are coming from local market and also extending into the international market. However, we recently identified that there is a need to create an accelerator program, which then looks at businesses that are turning over 5 million and above annually. And I guess some of the successes I can tell you about that we've done is that we've worked with a company like Alpine Communication, which we help them through the business coaching process for them to move from 30 million to 140 million turnover annually, and for them to then sell the business to a JSE listed company. Other examples is that we've worked with RLWA, which is a wood and frame and window framing manufacturing company. The assistant there is, they were literally losing millions of rands monthly, and within a period of 24 months, during the coaching process, we're able to get them to reach a turnover of 12 million a month.
Can I just ask you, Minky, just sorry for jumping in.
Sure. You've
worked with very strong entrepreneurs, right?
Sure.
And, excuse me if I'm dropping names, but you've had the exposure to Johan Rupert, you've worked with Given Car, who's done well in media. Why would entrepreneurs need a coach? Why would they need an executive coach? What is the importance, rather? Because you do need one, of an executive coach as an entrepreneur.
True. So maybe before I answer that, just to bring context as how does Minky arrive to where she is. So quite rightfully said. So studied strategy and innovation at Harvard, but I also worked my way through corporate, where I ended up heading as group chief of staff, heading 6 subsidiaries, each being run by their own MDs and CEOs. And during the period, my role really was more on the strategic projects for the business and also expansion for the business. So where the business was going into an expansion into new markets or new products, I would basically carry those products until I could hand over to a CEO that would have. And from an entrepreneur point of view, I mean, the entrepreneurs that have worked, for instance, one of the projects that I think really stretched me is working with Mr. Strive Masiwa. I was one of the 4 people he employed in the business, and I said, so what are we doing? He says, that's why you're here. There's no piece of paper in this building, there's no pen. Figure it out and start writing a plan. And actually we took that business into the rest of Africa and successfully launching it. But when it comes to coaching investors and funders, so whether they're VCs or DFIs, and them being a stakeholder manager and basically helping businesses to get investor ready, but also managing the assets and the investments that those businesses have done so that everybody gets a win. Interesting about coaching is that business coaching is no different from sports coaching, right? In fact, you have CEOs like Eric Smits, who's ex-Google CEO. He had Bill Campbell as a business coach. Same Bill Campbell coached Steve Jobs. And if I put it simply, if you're a sportsman or you're a swimmer, you can watch yourselves and how you basically swimming or doing those strokes. So it provides you perspective as a business coach to look at the things that you're doing in the business and become your strategic thinker and how you resolve those things. But also as a sportsman, you need an accountability partner who's going to make sure that you are there doing the things you need to do and executing. Having a business coach also looks at 4 key things.
Okay.
Are you clear about the kind of business that you're building so that you're not stuck in the day-to-day of the business? But if I asked you today, how does success look like for you? Can we set a strategic direction framework for you and then look at where you are versus where you want to be? What capabilities are we going to have to put in place for you to basically build a business that's going to outlive you, essentially?
So I'm from Kwakwa rural area. I don't have much money to play with. How do I get a coach to guide me? Is there a shortcut or a gravel route I can take where I don't have to pay a lot of money to get a coach?
So fortunately, I also work with, especially the ICT sector, as you say, so I'm the deputy chairperson for the ICT Council. And we've really, from being people who influence legislation and engage with government on behalf of the sector, we have looked at different programs. You have programs and the efficiencies of those. So there's the ESD programs, there is the enterprise supply development, there's the EEIP processes that we are constantly looking at. So there are those programs that you would find perhaps a business like Standard Bank would put entrepreneurs through. However, I think the challenges of the most incubating platforms that we have in the market is that you not appreciate that each business is unique and each business has got its own challenges and each business has got its own strategic goals that it needs to reach. So the difference between there where we sit in one room and talk about broad principles, with business coaches you have someone who's literally looking at your individual business and helping you set the correct goals. But I think in not so many ways, I think the government is there. They've got a couple of ESD programs. The question really we probably have to engage on is how effective are they?
Okay. I keep on hearing, my chief, you are being redeemed every minute. No, let us work together. So you mentioned ICT, right? And I'll let Vianney in his talk probably elaborate more on that. Is how do we bring about ICT in low-income consumer areas where a mother in Katu has to walk 12 k's to a rock where there's signal because anywhere else within her community there's no signal. And I think there's about 120% cell phone penetration in South Africa, but there's about a low rate of connectivity.
Sure.
So how do we merge that complexity where we say, yes, we've got cell phones, yes, we've got devices that can work, but we don't have the ability to connect to be able to function and connect with the world to do business.
So interesting enough, I'm not sure if how many people know, but for instance, Katabok Technology has embarked on a project which is called TV White Space.
Okay.
And this is meant to go into rural areas and where there isn't access and be able to give access to those communities where we can start seeing businesses that are operating within the Internet of Things. So I think there has been progress. I think as South Africans also, we get caught up in the complaining mode. Yeah. And so we spend our attention there and forget to look at the things that are already in place that are going to take us there. Probably maybe it's a bit slow, but hopefully we're getting there. And especially, and funny enough, globally, TV white space has been the biggest success factor for agriculture.
I think we're getting some nice nuggets. Who has cell phones here? Can we tweet these nuggets, please? And throw in a nice hashtag, IEW23. Can you tag Katawa Media? Because now you're getting nuggets now. You're getting some nice stuff that work. That when you leave here, things are going to happen for you. So, laptops may be down, unless if you're on Twitter. Can cell phones go up and we tweet and we just share these nuggets? Hashtag IEW23 and tag at Katawa Media. If you are a Facebooker, Katawa Media, let's keep on communicating and sharing what we're sharing now. On that note, I probably just in closing is for me, how do we merge coaching, ICT, and reaching the global world? So how do I get well equipped to be coached, to see strategy, to understand what is next? How do I use the ICT rails for me to be able to be relevant and to reach people globally?
So one, I think the question that I usually ask with people I work with is, are you coachable? Right? You understand your business more than I do, but I understand the business drivers that can grow your business. So the first question is that you have to have discipline as a leader, because I do become your unreasonable accountability partner. I will be unreasonable to make sure that you are committed for all the businesses that we coach, meaning wherever I am or wherever your funders and sponsors are that are helping you to get through business coaching are, they can literally go online and see the progress you are making with business coaching. But even on that platform, we provide the tools, the formats, and the material where when you log in from anywhere, you'll be able to kind of read whatever we've posted. I would be able to also say to you, I think this is a thing that you need in your business, so go to this area on the web and be able to see that. So those mergers are still already there.
Okay. My prizes are still running. 2 power questions that are going to put you in the running for your prizes. Can I get 2 questions for Minky, and then we're going to shut down? Hey, prizes are not...
Perhaps while you wait for that, Milo, is for me to share what the master classes that I'll be hosting will be about, right? So I'll be, after lunch, throughout the 3 days, I'll be hosting business growth master classes. This is where I'll be sharing practical tools and frameworks that we are going to do together that you can also take away and start implementing in your own businesses. But these really look at the 4 areas of that we call the growth formula. Setting strategic direction for your business, you, the leader, and how you're going to develop yourself, because the businesses can grow as much as you can grow and you're developing yourself. It talks about operational efficiencies. Do you have operational efficiencies and teams that are able to constantly deliver and execute on your strategic directions? So I'm hoping that out of that session as well, the entrepreneurs in the room will be able to go away with practical solutions where they can start implementing them and see how it works for them. But more than that, I'm here for 3 days and open to meeting with each business on a one-on-one basis, because core of this thing is being able to do a business assessment of where your particular business is at.
Let's allay fears. Must they bring a card? Is there a speed point? Is it for free?
It is for free.
Please say it again loudly. It's for free.
Yeah, so the business growth master classes that I'll be running, complimentary of Gatabo Media. Thank you.
Just to add, Alvin Toffler said, an opportunity of a lifetime is taken in the lifetime of that opportunity. I'll say it again, opportunity of a lifetime is taken in the lifetime of that opportunity. It's for free. It's an opportunity that exists now, you take it now. So I want to see a queue going there. Is it what time?
So we're starting at 2 o'clock.
During the breaks, can I see a queue? Because then that's your big opportunity to get free coaching. That probably costs, yeah. I saw a hand.
Hi, Minky. I just
Hi, Lady.
have 2 quick questions.
Sure.
I don't know if you've answered them already. But at what stage of a business does an entrepreneur need a business coach? Mm-hmm. The second part is, what is the difference between a business coach and an active advisory board?
Cool. So one, at what stage? I'd say right at the beginning. I think business can move quicker to be more profitable and sustainable if they start with a clear strategic direction of what they're building. Commonly, businesses start operating by themselves and get into the work, I guess working for yourself, where you get stuck in basically the daily operations because you have not clearly defined what is it that you're building and what success looks like. So for me, I'd say start with business coaching right from the beginning, because it's a blueprint and a playbook that you start drafting with your business coach to say, this is what, as we start, that we're trying to build and where we need to get and when we need to get to. So we'd always talk about measurement. So I'd say as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're going to waste the first 5 years or the first 2 years just trying to figure out and testing this and moving around that. And then the second question around, I think, was around
Advisory board versus
advisory
coaching.
board.
Yes.
So, like I said, a business coach is your accountability partner. My responsibility or my liking is that I want to see your business succeed. So I am constantly working with you on the business. I'm not necessarily in the business, but I'm constantly working with you in the business. So I work with my clients where I either see them fortnightly or I see them once a month, depending on the maturity in terms of how business works. So it's not an in and out with the coach. A coach, it's just think about like I said, a sports coach. The difference from people who will come in and assess how the sportsman is performing once in a while are not going to deliver the same impact as someone who is on the training field with you, drilling you all the time to say, you need to increase your speed, you need to look at what you're eating. So that's literally the difference between the advisory board versus a coach. I'm there with you in the trenches all the way.
So to those who watched Chasing the Sun after we won the World Cup, the business coach is Rassi Rasmus every day. The business advisor is Saru, who phones in to say, Rassi, are you still fine? So is that cool? Last question. Nicolette, I saw a hand there that I need that. I'll come to you. Thanks. Yes, ma'am?
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Nigiwe, for sharing your nuggets with us. Firstly, I just wanted to say congratulations on your achievement. I think you mentioned you are working with 150 companies and also 20 coaches that are based in different parts of the country. My main question to you was, you mentioned that your focus study was strategy and innovation. So when you applied that course and you were done, was coaching the first thing that came into mind as a path that you wanted to follow? And when you started your company, was it very clear? Was the company very clear did you go in and would you say, having had the experience, that you won the first time around, or did you perhaps need coaching as well? And yeah, I'm also curious to find more about the challenges that you sustained in the beginning that then ultimately led you to working with this number of companies, very successful companies also, I must say. I think you mentioned Alpine Communication. I think that's an international company. So maybe you could also share in what it broke to get into, what it took to break those boundaries, international global scales. Thank you.
Thank you. Please do catch me and remind me if I miss anything. So just to put it into perspective, I think coaching was not a natural thing to me. In fact, I think it was out of my experiences working in corporate. And when I first moved out of corporate, I started a consulting company, which is still what I run. So, and one of the the clients there, I was helping them with an acquisition and merger transaction. And they said to me, you know, the things that you do in your business consultancy is things that people can benefit with you being a business coach. So that's how I joined Grow. And so no, it didn't necessarily come, I actually struggled with the idea of business coaching, right? Because for me, I was more used to being a business consultant where I come in and I implement the projects with you and I execute the project with you. So the idea of coaching landed very slowly with me. But I appreciated it that the tools and formulas that we impart on entrepreneurs are ones that are able to sustain you over the various cycles and growth cycles of your business. And I think that's how I took the liking. I think also what aided was that, like Tumelo was saying, the kind of business leaders that I've worked with, I think you get a very different perspective when you're working with business leaders like Mr. Strive Masiwa, your Mukaris, your Johan Ruperts. Your mind has to shift, right? So it was also through the lessons of working with such businesses. At that time, I was working in their businesses, but because I worked very closely with them, in some areas being chief of staff, I got exposed to very heavy insights, I guess, which I'm very appreciative of. So it didn't come naturally. I think it was actually someone dragging me into it and saying, we've seen how you operate. Can you please come and help other entrepreneurs to do it? Did I need business coaching? Probably, yeah. If you had to ask me now if I would have opted to go for business coaching, I would say yes. Because as much as I had been exposed to those kind of businesses and those kind of entrepreneurs, it is quite a difficult thing to not have an accountability partner that is helping you to think through the decisions you are making in your business, but also hold you accountable that you are executing them. Because then you can imagine, if you're going to the Olympics, but you think, today, I'm not going to gym. It can happen. And so, yes, I would definitely have opted for coaching.
Cool. We need to go for a break. So let me allow her to meet you afterwards, and you can ask your questions and get even more than just asking questions, get stuff around coaching, right? So, Minky, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think that the guys are going to really benefit from what you have. You've got vast experience. You've been around. You've seen different leaders. I always say, at a point in life, it's what will determine where you go, how far you go, is which leader you have followed, and that is critical. So they'll catch you during the break, during your slots. And from now, guys, thank you very much. We're going to go on a break. We're going to come back at 1 o'clock, and from there we're going to kick off with one more keynote, and we're going to structure our way forward again to the networking session. Thank you. Thanks.